Goodness gracious.
Yeah, ISO, that's it right there.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kenda Bell. I'm also known as the Joy Factor Mama, also known as Kenda Bell Sproul. I am the co-owner of a coaching system called Sacred Opportunities that I work with, and alongside my husband, Symbia Cow. His program, Raise the Level, is a support for men and community, whereas my system, the Joy Factor method, is focused and centered around women. But hey, when women have more joy, the world benefits, right? So today I'm excited because I have Master Astro-Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. I had him on last month and we got a really good conversation going, but I wanted to really dive a little deeper because he came on just before the lunar eclipse, which happened in March. I think it was a week or two before that, and I meant to ask him about that because everyone's been talking about this eclipse season and how it's a big transformational time and all these different things. And some people are saying it's a good time, other people are scared. There's all these different ideologies about what this eclipse season is, and we're having a total solar one across America. And I think we had one in hey LaShawn, well, Yoni Power. I think we had one in 2017, and now we're having another solar eclipse in April, but I think this one is bigger, whatever. But anyway, since I'm into all things metaphysical, I had to get Baba Lloyd on the line, and I'm about to bring him up because I want to know what is going on. What is going on with this? What is going on with this? Hello, how you doing?
How are you? Thanks for inviting me.
You are a treasure, and you're great to talk to because you make the complications of numbers seem like breathing. It's amazing. When I talked to Jabari a couple of weeks ago, he was like, "Oh yeah, I talked to Baba Lloyd. Yeah, he's great." And he said something about Kenda. Yeah, she's a 3 and this, that, and the other. And you were just breaking down his address and all his numbers around him. And he said how much you were hitting it, And I was like, I told you. I said, I told you. I told you. So we're excited to have you come to Baltimore. Now you're coming to Baltimore on Saturday, April the 13th. And I
That's
have,
right. Mm-hmm.
yes. And I have on the ticker how to get tickets. He is going to be live in Baltimore, Maryland at TNAT Wellness, Holistic Wellness Center. And this is an event that is being sponsored by Reality Speaks of Soul Virus Nation. And we at Sacred Opportunities partner with them with their wonderful work that they do. Oh, that felt peaceful. I don't know what that was, but um and um and and we work together for Ma'at Temple of Elevation. So anyone that is in the Baltimore area, we are the place to connect with new and innovative ways to experience your spirituality. We're steadily creating and doing those things. So if you're into learning more about yourself through engaging in a unique way spiritually, we invite you as well to join us this Sunday, April the 7th, for Ma'at Temple of Elevation, and that's at 10 a.m. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to my page. You can follow me, and you'll get all the information. But Baba Lloyd Strayhorn will be speaking on Saturday, April the 13th, and he's going to be talking about the African roots of numerology and just revealing and showing us how numbers are just a part of who we are and how we can really leverage that. And I know I've said enough, right? So before we get into the solar eclipse, I want people to know a little bit more about you for people that don't know you. So how did you start in numerology?
Well, I got started, believe it or not, Kenda, trying to prove it didn't work.
Interesting.
That thing got a hold of me, and I haven't been right ever since. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
um, Actually, what happened is I was very shy in junior high school around the girls. So one of the things that led to me is, okay, what kind of person am I? I think we all go through that. I thought, when you're in your own skin, you think you're the only one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing that everybody goes through this. So I discovered I was an Aquarius, and I would read everything I could about Aquarius, what made us great, not so great, whatever the case is. And then years later, so that's what led me down the road of astrology, which is my first love, my first venture into the metaphysical side.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, I was introduced to the word numerology. And I'm saying, what is that about?
Mm-hmm.
As a result, I got involved with numerology. And little did I know that I would then one day write books, do this for decades, be on every radio, television show you can imagine, especially down in that area. Uh,
Yes.
PGC, KYS. I'm going to be on Carl Ferguson's show at one point. I was on Kathy Hughes's show. So I've been on
Mm-hmm.
all of them. So it's just been a wonderful experience. And then what happens is when studying numerology, they will say that Pythagoras is the father of numerology, but Pythagoras studied in the land of Egypt. Well, if that's
Mm.
the case, and one asks the logical question, well, on what continent is Egypt? That's the African continent. I mean, people shouldn't take it personal or get uptight about it. Egypt, and that's where it is. It's on the African continent. So I tell people, therefore, numerology is an ancient African science. The Pyramid of Giza that's built at the exact center of the world is a
Oh, that's the center of the world?
yeah, the Pyramid of Giza. So that would give you an idea that you don't do something at the center of the planet Earth willy-nilly. Sorry, you don't do
No. And aliens didn't help them.
that. No, well, you know what's interesting, when the Dogon people in Africa had discovered the Sirius star and the Sirius star B, which is the smaller but more denser planet. They were told, well, missionaries came through, aliens. In other words, everybody was given credit except the brothers who was there on the African continent. How could they do
Mhm.
these things without computers? How can they do these things without telescopes and whatnot? But but we are the original man. We started. We are the originators of human civilization, and there are people who would tend to want to have problems with that. And this is probably why a lot of things are banned in the school system now, to appease other people. And yet,
Mm.
um, the facts are the facts are the facts. Period.
Oh,
So I'm not taking anything from anybody else, but I'm not going to take anything away from us. That we are the original man.
that I mean, and that's one of the things that I think, even though we are coming into awareness about that, I think that because of the way that we have been socialized, the way we have been educated, we really have to work hard to really own that. And with everything that's going on now, right? They're talking about this term called grooming, right? In certain activities, how they groom a person or a child, to coerce them into being something else other than who they are, or
Mm-hmm.
to do certain acts. And what I came to realize is that society is being groomed. We're groomed from the womb, and especially people of color. We're almost groomed to be afraid, to be scared. Not intentionally, but it's certain ways that society grooms us so that we can show up and function. And I love how we have access to these ancient sciences to be able to tell us who we really are. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we need people like you out here, not only telling us, but also teaching us. So I appreciate your contribution.
Well, the one thing I try to do is, they say knowledge is power, and it is true. It is no accident that when we were brought upon these shores, it was death to even read a word or a
Mm-hmm.
paragraph or a page or a book. And now they'll tell you, fast forward in this 21st century, if you want to hide something from us, you put it in a book. And so, yet we're just the original man. I mean, there's only been so many ways you can say it. There's only many ways you can express it, and it shouldn't be personal. Only to those who do not have humanity's best interest in heart. Notice what I said: humanity's best
Mm.
interest in heart.
Yes. Yes, sir. That's the whole thing. And so as I shift over to the subject at hand, this solar eclipse that everyone is talking about, and it seems to coincide with the very thing that you are talking about, which is identity and letting go of old things. So, again, guys, do not be selfish. Before I get started, you need to share this with your friends. At least comment and say hello in the chat. Tag a friend that you know loves astrology. Tag your friend that's been telling you about the solar eclipse. Tag them in this so that they can get that information, because this is we can go on to YouTube, but and see all these people giving us these things, but you had the opportunity to listen to it in real time and possibly ask questions. So don't be selfish. Share that experience with your friends. Thank you.
Oops. How come? That's interesting. I thought I had my. It seemed like I was about to. Hold on 1 second.
Hi, Khalil.
I'm trying to figure out why is my battery low and it's plugged in.
Mercury in retrograde, right?
Yes, it is all day long. This is
Yeah,
weird. Hold on.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yes,
But yeah,
no, it's
but
not okay. No,
no, it is going to work out. It is going to work out. I'm totally confident it is
yeah,
going to
let
work
me
out.
see. That's really, really weird. Mercury is definitely, listen, it's plugged in. I got it
Okay.
plugged into the computer and it still says low batteries and it will go to sleep.
Oh no. Okay. So do you want to join me from your phone, or do you think it's in a
I'm going to have to
stasis
join you
system?
from my phone, my tablet. And
Okay.
so, but this is weird. It shouldn't be. But then again, it's Mercury retrograde
And you're
with
talking to a
a
Gemini.
solar eclipse coming up. And this is, I swear to you, it is plugged in. And I've been doing this too long. Huh.
That's
That's weird.
interesting. Yeah. Well, while you try to situate that I again, guys, thank you,
Hold on.
Deltra.
I think I got, no. Hope.
I heard I heard something. Deltra, thank you so much for tagging names. Everyone, please share this message. Let me go into Mama Aunt Temple group, because I know you guys
Hold on. Let's see.
would be interested in this. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I heard ding. So I think we got it.
I
That's
did
crazy.
too.
That's crazy. All right. All right. And yet it is plugged in. And yet it said it wasn't plugged in. I don't understand. Well, anyway, I do understand. And these are the things I talk about when there's a Mercury retrograde that started on the very first day of April. So I would say that was a nice way to start April Fool's Day, as it's known as.
That's
And
what I heard. Mm-hmm.
pranks and stuff like that. In fact, I think the week before, I think Instagram and Facebook, or Meta as they now call it, was shut down for a couple of hours. All of this is in this. When Mercury's retrograde, see, Mercury rules the planet of communications. And so when it's retrograde or simply slowed down, it means miscommunications, misunderstandings, misdirections. I swore you said this, you said no, I swore you said that. People get into misunderstandings and arguments. Contracts don't work too well. It's really a communications and technology disaster if anything goes wrong. And I'm telling you, I'm looking right at my computer. It's plugged into my and I'm plugging it in, and it was saying it's not getting no juice. So anyway, I switched up a couple of things and I did it. So once I heard the gong sound, I says, okay, I'm plugged in. I do believe. So, but that is to be expected. Phones act up, computers act up, cars act up. What you say, and this is why you can't talk in generalities. Well, Kenda, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean, Lloyd. That is not the way to talk. The only exception is, let's say a person says, well, I've been negotiating this deal for months, and now we're about to come into this period of retrograde. That's another thing. But even then, going down to the home stretch, make sure you read the fine print, dot those I's, cross those T's. Yes. And as Pyramid Deltra says, the key is to stay calm. Well, I wasn't calm in a second because there shouldn't have been no reason why I'm not getting no juice, and I got the juice plugged into the computer. So but you're right there. I should have stayed calm, but I was saying like, what? But then again, I was ready to get my tablet or whatever. But so everything happens, and especially since it's in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars, that governs accidents, arguments, confrontations to the negative. It's very assertive and a self-determination sign. That's true. But to the negative, it rules dangers from knives and guns and sharp instruments, cuts, fender benders, things like that. So people who like to drive fast, they should definitely slow it down, and that is the thing that should be taken into consideration. So take your time, even how you write something, how you speak something. Let's say a person has an appointment, a very important point, a make or break appointment, and it takes no more tops 30 minutes to get there. And they're going to leave exactly 30 minutes to get there. Well, it could be a road accident or road delay or something that throws them out of whack. So when you got an appointment in retrograde, which would be from now to the 21st, 24th rather, you just, I would say, I'll be there between 5 and 5:15. I'll be there between 5 and 5:30. You got some wiggle room. But let's say you're going to be there at 5 o'clock. This is a make or break, and you're about 15 minutes late. It throws your rhythm off because, first of all, you're late. It builds up a sense of anxiety, so you're not as calm and collected had you had that wiggle room. So allow some space between point A and point B, or whatever the case is. I'll be there between so and so is much better. Now, if you can get there on time at 5, that's beautiful. But if you can't get there, at least you haven't gotten yourself worked up because I'm running late and I'm looking at my watch and so and so and so.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, my mother, I have to take her somewhere in the morning, and she is a stickler for being on time. So that's like a message, like make sure I leave out an extra 30 minutes early to make sure you hit it right.
Yeah. But just in case. I mean, I'd rather a person be there early with room to spare than running late and work themselves into a fit.
Carisha M. Boyd says, this is major. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Lloyd's. Awesome. I am too.
Thank you.
Yes, you are beloved and respected in the community. Just know that. We're so excited to have you coming here. Let me make sure that I put the banner back up, guys. Anyone that is watching, he's going to be in Baltimore on Saturday, April the 13th at TNAC, Holistic Wellness Center. And that's in Baltimore. And it's going to be in between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. And if you see the banner that's scrolling across, I have the bit.ly link. You can go get your tickets. And for people that either have something else to do during that time or you're out of town, we also have streaming options as well. So you can stream it as well.
And the address is going to be at the 5500 block of
yes,
the exact address.
5525 Hartford Road in Baltimore, Maryland. And the zip code is 21215. But if you use the bit.ly link that you see there that is floating across, bit.ly/L Strayhorn, it will give you all the information. So you can also, like I said, come live. Seeing him live is really great, but you can also stream it if you like. We do have streaming options at that link. So yeah. So before we talk about the solar eclipse, I want to go back to the lunar, because I've been feeling, so I will tell you what I have studied, and then you can tell me, okay, no, that's not right, or okay, you're close to it. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So the lunar eclipse was in Libra, right? And that was about partnership, like Aries and Libra, right? And and that was about the internal issues with how you show up in partnerships and the breaking away of that, or getting rid of ways that you push yourself down to fit in certain partnerships. That was what I understood that
Mm-hmm.
to be. And now as we go into this total eclipse, the solar one, where the moon is covering the sun, what they're saying is that's really where you basically are cutting off your old self for this new identity. It's like the moon, your inner, is like covering up the external for the work to be done, and the world's going to get dark and the animals are going to go crazy and you're going to get slapped around with karma because you don't, like, make it make sense. Am
Well,
I
like
close?
in anything, there are always stereotypes. There's always false rumors or whatever. Some of it partially is true. Much of it is not true. I did a recent interview and they asked me, should you be afraid? No, just be aware. That's all it is. Just raise your consciousness, your kundalini, call it whatever you will. You can fancy it up all you want to, but just be
Mm-hmm.
aware. Because first of all, none of us can escape the influence of the heavens anyway.
Mm.
None of us can. So it's a matter, instead of trying to escape it, to understand it, and then you know how to roll with the punches, so to speak. It's simply when there's a solar eclipse, which is when the moon comes in between the sun and the earth and
Mm-hmm.
blocks it. That's the solar eclipse. And in fact, there in Baltimore, the solar eclipse is going to be at its peak at 3:21 in the afternoon.
Mm.
So at 3:21 p.m. there in Baltimore, Maryland, that's when you see it at its peak, when it's going to be as close to blocking out the sun as much as possible. I think it's going to be about 85 to 90% of total blackout.
Oh,
What
that's
happens is
that's
when
pretty
there's an
that's
eclipse.
pretty dark, right?
Oh yeah, very dark. So what
Very
happens is normally all of a
dark.
sudden there's a tendency for the day to get darker, like going into dusk or going into dawn,
Mm-hmm.
and also it's just a time whereby the temperature drops too. So let's
Okay.
say 60 degrees, it'll drop about 10 degrees or something of that nature.
10
Uh,
degrees. Oh.
could be, but the point is it gets cooler. That's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Another thing is some don'ts, and one of them is don't look at the sun. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. I did an interview recently, and the feedback was the person looked at the sun. They said their eyes improved it with the sun. I've heard all kinds of things, but
Mm-hmm.
since eyes are very precious, don't take any chances. In fact, they now have glasses available on uh, these websites, especially Amazon, to
Mm-hmm.
so if a person is inclined to look up at the sun, he can protect his eyes. Libraries, local libraries in your communities used to have sunglasses available. I've got a feeling in certain cities now there
Hmm.
was funding cut back where they don't have glasses, but you can order glasses on Amazon. But if not, just go to your local library and ask for one. And
Oh.
during that time, during the peak, because see, it starts in the it's going to start in Mexico.
Mm.
But when it hits the United States, it's going to hit it in Mexico, in Texas time, 1:27 p.m., which on the East Coast represents 2:27 p.m. So from
Mm-hmm.
2:20 p.m. to 3:30, 3:35, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
p.m. It's a total of 68 minutes. So we'll begin in Texas and work its way across the United States. Some cities will be more in the path of it, as they call it.
Right.
And you were absolutely right, because on October the 7th, on October the 21st, there's your 2017, there was a solar eclipse, but the shadow path was what is called narrower. This path is wider. So it means it's going to cover more territory, which is why they refer to it as a totality solar eclipse, that
Mm.
when it makes its presence felt going across the entire United States, there are going to be certain areas that are definitely going to be dark. Let there be no question about that, you know. And
Oh.
um, so, and it's interesting because the eclipse is taking place on a new moon day. So
Right. So that's kind of, isn't that like an extra potency? Is that like a potency thing?
it's an extra potency for people who know how to channel and direct their energies properly, yes. But for those that are on edge, for those that are like uptight or under pressure, it's just going to exacerbate or bring out the worst in them. So it's just about being prepared. For those people that like to drive fast, I would say you should slow it down so your car doesn't wind up by the insurance company called Total. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you just kiss, as I used to tell my kids, and just work out the little fenders as against being caught up in an accident that could leave one totally maybe sick or ill or whatever the case is, because money can't buy back good health. It can't.
Yeah. I mean, I know in general, when they said Aries, I was like, so, that's like that really intense energy
Yes.
in both spaces, and they're like fighting almost. Is it a fight or is it a dance? Let me ask you that.
It all depends on the attitude. If it's a fight if you don't know and you're not prepared. But for those who are aware and understand it, it can be a most beautiful dance. If I'm dancing with you, I just don't throw you across the room. Not in that case. There's a way that we dance together gracefully across the room. There's a way that I'll pirouette with you.
Pirouette, where we
Yeah,
spin around
yeah,
like
spin around. Yeah, in a nice way, not just spin you crazy like a spinning top. No,
like
it's different. Yeah, where you wind up being dizzy and then can't even keep your balance. So it all depends on what's going on. But because a lot of people are not aware, unfortunately, in that way, that it means a time for prayer, a time for meditation, a time to reset. Now, what I did find interesting over and above, don't look at the sun, is that ideally you should not eat, you should not sleep, you should not get involved in any physical activities or
no
anything like that. So I'm trying to
fun
figure
time.
out why that is. But it's only a 68-minute period because on Monday, it is the last day of Ramadan for the Muslim community. So they
Right.
don't begin to eat until after the sun sets anyway.
How powerful is that? How
Yeah,
powerful
there's a
is
lot
that?
of things happening with people on the 8th, and half of them don't know there's going to be this special configuration in the movements of the planets in the heavens. But it just seemed to coincide. So it's going to be real big in Brooklyn on that Sunday here in New York.
So, so, so on the solar eclipse day, Ramadan is ending.
Yes.
So it's almost like people. Now, I've been hearing that they're saying that people are going to get activated, or their superpowers, or certain aspects of who they are. This is like a time when they can really tap into it. And so some people say, I don't believe in that stuff. That's whatever. But I always say, if things synchronize a little too good, it's quacking, right?
Yeah.
It's like really quacking, because like we're at the end of the Christian holy season. Well, actually, we are now going into the 40 days before Jesus did the ascension. So really, it's I just kiki, because everyone is pretty much saying the same thing, and we don't need to argue. So this time, the stars that God created, or universe created, or however you want to call it, Allah created, is giving us these beautiful signs.
All we have
Right?
to do is pay attention, act upon them. And so, somebody says the stars compel or something. But the counter to that is they impel. In other words, they set up conditions, but then you have the wherewithal, the free will to then follow that. That's like saying, well, it's impulsive. The moon or sun is going to be in Aries, and everybody's going to jump off the window. No, jump off the bridge. No, everybody's not going to do that. Everybody's not going
Right.
to jump off the window. There's going to be some who will begin to think, because it all depends on the kind of trail they've left behind them. If they have
Mm,
children, they may not do that. If they got a family or wife, they may not do that. Or a husband, they may not do that. Oftentimes, when there's things like that, it's because I do believe when a person has nothing to live for,
mm,
it says, what's the use? And then they throw up their hands. But for all of you who have family members, children, whatnot, embrace them, embrace what they mean to you, because they help extend your life.
mm, That every time that you share, you go beyond numbers. That's just so cool. I love that. So is there any significance of this happening on a Monday and on the 8th day of the 4th month?
Well, sometimes things happen when they're supposed to. In this case, in April on the 8th month, is a 4 and an 8. These two numbers, of all the numbers in numerology, tend to be misunderstood. They tend to be most misdiagnosed by the medical profession too. And so
Mm.
they're going to be matching up where you got a 4-month coming on the 8th of the month. In fact, this is Bob Johnson's birthday, the founder of BET, the first Black millionaire, or billionaire, I should say. This
And
is
my
his birthday.
son, I told you.
Yes, your son. So that tells me you have a young old man. He may be young biologically, but old spiritually in that way.
Yes, sir.
You
You
know,
got it.
so
Never
you be
met him, but
saying,
you
honey, who you been talking to? Because where's he getting that kind of wisdom from? And so
Mhm.
therefore, if your son, I don't know what his age, and you don't have to tell, but if he likes older young ladies or
He,
dated girls, that would not surprise me at all.
his wife is very mature too. She's an Aquarius, born. Her birthday's January the 28th. I think I got that right. Yes.
Hmm.
Mhm. And she's very serious. I love them. And look, one of my friends says, yes, he is. My son is a very old man, but very. He's been here before, more mature than his mom. Sometimes I
Yeah.
say.
Well, see, your number, Gemini, is the sign of youth. And then you're born on the 21st, which is also the number of youth. So you will always, I don't care, you could be 90 years old, you're still going to be young in looks, young in actions, young in deeds, and young in the ways of thinking and maturity. So, there are certain things that are timeless. And then you have a case of your son where he's like father time, snap out of it. But they see life different. And that's the beauty of got me into numerology. Every
Hmm.
number from 1 to 9 express themselves totally different, with the exceptions to all, and what makes them outstand out, which is why they do. And it's interesting. I was thinking this morning, who in the world came up with the fact of astrology or numerology or tarot or palmistry? Who were these men or women? They had to walk with God, because where they getting this information from?
Mm.
That they know how to look at a certain thing. It's like a woman in the kitchen cooking. She's got to prepare the right ingredients. If the right ingredients are prepared and mixed together, she knows she's coming up with a great meal that her and her family is going to love.
Hmm.
And yet you can't just do it anytime. And I tell people numbers are important, because you can't leave a turkey in the oven and say, I'll be back 3 days later. You can come back 3 days later, but the turkey's going to be burnt or wilt or not good.
Hmm.
The food is. So timing is everything. Timing is everything, and that comes across from numbers.
Yeah, I mean, like, so. Also, I had a list of questions. Okay, someone asked, "Is Lloyd reading numbers?" Yes, we'll get to that. Yes, ma'am. He might do a couple, so that will be fine. That will be fine, and we'll get to that in a few minutes for sure. But so what was I going to ask? So all right, so now for this solar eclipse, now you've given us some pointers, like in terms of no sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I ideally eating light or fasting would
During
be
that 68-minute period, it don't mean
during the
yeah
68
when the
days.
timer kicks off in the United States at 2:27 Eastern Standard Time to 3:35 or something Eastern Standard Time. It's a total of 68 minutes, and it's abstain from eating, abstain from physical activities, abstain from the gym, anything like that, but more to reflect, to sit in prayer, to give thanks,
Mhm.
little things like that.
Okay, I'm making sure. Now, since you are into numbers, so is there any significance about the 68 minutes?
Well, yes, they're both even numbers. They're both
Okay.
conservative numbers, and they're both interchangeable with each other very well. But if you add 6 plus 8, that adds to 15. That denote no, excuse me, that adds to 14, and that's the number that denotes indicative of change, of turning points, and things of that nature. So it indicates that for those, it's about freedom and flexibility. It astrologically means those under the sign of Mercury, which is interesting because it will be in effect still. Um, then Virgo, or anybody born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd might be feeling in a very reflective or soul searching way
Mm.
on that day.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you breaking it down. You breaking it down. You breaking it down. Now, before we now, is there now? I wanted to talk about you. You and I talked a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, this new album that everyone, they either hate it or they love it. They love it. Ava, okay, we'll get to that. I'm gonna save it because my son's birthday is on that day too. So we are going to get to you for
Now,
sure.
when is the release date of Beyonce's album?
Yeah, let me look at it because I sent it to you. Let me look and see. I wrote it down because it's creating. I mean, she's going to create a lot. So she released it on the 29th of
Mm-hmm.
March of this year, and it's called Act Two.
Okay, I know this. She's born on September the 4th. Her husband is born on December the 4th.
Hmm.
And I forgot Willie Nelson's birthday. I forgot. I think Dolly Parton. I think she's one of the people on the album. She
Mm-hmm.
is born. She's a Capricorn, January the 19th. I can't remember who the rest of the persons are, but actually country music is black in origin. Blues is black in origin. Jazz is black in origin. Rock and roll is black in origin. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not here to take away anything from anybody else, but I'm not going to deny our contribution to this entire planet, culturally, spiritually, musically, scientifically, in literary forms. We've
Yes.
just done it all. We've just done it all, despite the fact of inhumane treatment, things that are threatening, demonstrations, and all kinds of things. We're still here. And as Maya Angelou says, by the way, today is Maya Angelou's birthday, and
Oh,
I will rise, and shall I rise?
honor to the ancestor. Okay.
Yes. And Jill Scott, is this her birthday as well too?
Oh, really? So tell me about those two
I had the
powerful
pleasure, and
women.
I had the pleasure of meeting both these women.
So were they similar? Are they similar? What is because
Well, yes and no, because both of them were involved in the arts.
okay, that's one
Uh,
thing in common.
yes, because Jill sings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know whether what you call it sings, but if you heard Maya Angelou read her poems, her prose, it's so eloquent the way she
Mm-hmm.
explains it, the way she expresses it. Both of them have been in film.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Maya Angelou, hers was more documentary. With Jill's, hers was something else. But there's a similarity, and both these women had a tendency to be misunderstood, but be going down as being very visionary, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. So with her putting that album out in this eclipse season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with from what I gather, the message of she's really kind of doing this eclipse energy thing, like we're breaking off from the old ways of doing things. It feels like a very Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius return, all this stuff that we were talking about this new change. It feels like that's what the album is trying to do, but it seems like people are well, there's a half of people that are really loving the album. There are people that are really disavowing it, basically. And it's not just the country Western people, but our own people or whatever. So I was just curious if there's a certain reason. Was it because she put it out on what 2 and 9 is what 11?
Yeah, well, when did it come out? On the 29th of March?
March. Mm-hmm.
Well, believe it or not, it was a 4 universal day. And she's a
Okay.
4. And in fact, I think when she and Jay-Z married, it was in this 4th month of April. They had the numeral 4 engraved on their fingers, you know. So, and in my book, Lloyd's Book of Numbers, a numerology guide for the 21st century and beyond, I went into more detail about them. Even their first child was called Blue, 4 letters. Yeah, see, there
Mm-hmm.
you go, right there. Thank you, LaShawn. This is what I'm talking about. That's why I says this is more than just my Angelo's birthday, because I was saying, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves me, they either married or committed, but they both had the Roman numeral 4 mentioned on their name. And in fact, I think Beyonce came out or Jay-Z came out with the album called
4
Four.
4 4 4. Yes, I was just about to say that. I
Yeah.
was just about to say that. So, okay.
So
Well, I
they
was just,
believe in numerology because I did their charts.
oh yeah, I'm sure they have to, because a lot of the ways that they both move and they navigate, they know astrology and the numbers. They have to, because the album cover is very symbolic and the different people. But I was just curious. Maybe it's just people are, to me, I feel like the idea of, to me, what she's doing is artistic activism, if you will. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, and with her being like a 4, isn't that something about their
Of course, it's very
energy?
hard and unusual, but you got to understand she was born in Texas. Okay, of course. So in Texas, they would have that kind of musical genre, country and western and things like that. But country and western is actually African in origin. Jazz is African in origin. Rock and roll is African in origin. The blues is African in origin. How about the only thing is probably opera, but we might have had something to do with that too.
Well, she has opera on her album. That's what her album is: country,
So they were calling
western,
it what
hip
is called
hop.
eclectic, which means it's a whole comprise
That's
of all of the things from all the touching on all the various factors. But don't forget, Force are very visionary. So they're going to be people because see, they're used to seeing her with her other albums being projected, the tours and whatnot. She had a very successful tour throughout the United States during 2023, stuff like that.
mhm.
But now it's all of a sudden, and it's throwing people for a loop. And in fact, when she did an interview, she had on a 10-gallon Texas hat. Okay.
Yes,
You know what I'm
she
saying?
did.
So, so people are trying to say what's up, but maybe she is evolving in ways that people don't quite understand. Because one of the things about 4 people is they are very visionary. They're very much ahead of the curve. Um, it's like that's why I call 4 the number of secret enemies: jealousy, envy,
Mm,
insecurity. and not understanding that they are just simply a numerical energy that's ahead of their time.
Okay. Wow. Is there anything? I'm trying to think. Oh, one more four, and then we're going to give people some pointers about what their numbers are and how they can manage the solar energy. Is that
Yes,
cool?
yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So, of course, another person.
Is that November 4th?
Yes, Mr. Yes, Brother Love. Now that's another four that's catching it. Go left, go right. And I'm not going to ask you so much about whether he's guilty or not or anything like that, but more so about um with your area of expertise with astrology and the numbers. Is there anything in his chart that would indicate why he's going through what he's going through at this time, and
Well, yes.
possibly what path it may be going on?
Well, just as each number has a friend to it, each number also has a enemy to it too. And the major opposition number to the number 4, which is his number, is the number 8. And Jay-Z is not out of the woods either, because they want to associate him with some of the things that's been going on with P. Diddy. They're both 4s, but this is the year of the 8. So this year favors those born on the 8, the 6, and the 3. And those that are born whose birthday is a 4 or 5 will have some problems. Even Jamie Foxx is born on the 13th of December, which is a 4. So he's had some problems coming into his own. So there's a lot of things that are going on. I guess the only one they didn't talk about was Cat Williams, but he's born September the 2nd, which is a whole different energy altogether.
So what is Cat Williams? Okay, I know we're going back in time, but so everyone has been joking, right, that Cat Williams just started 2024 with a bang, and one of his famous sayings from that infamous interview with Club Shay
Shay
was that all all truths will be revealed.
Well, that's where he's coming from. That's where he's coming from. And by the way, Shay is born on June the 26th, so he's a Cancer 8. But Cat Williams evidently, really, when I did his name, he has a very interesting name because numerically he has a master number name. Master numbers are people who are very visionary. In fact, I did an expose on him on my TikTok page, and I was explaining about how his name added up to it being very visionary, things of that nature. But the truth can only be told one way. Everything else is a variation. The truth is the truth. The beauty about the truth is you can tell it one way and you can remember exactly how you told it. The thing about untruth is you got to remember, did I say this? Or was it a he or a she? Was it daylight or nighttime? Was it this, that, because memory fades after a while. But you got people who are exceptionally good at remembering falsehoods too. So his whole thing is he always lives in the presence of God. He is giving, and he has learned the art of reciprocity. He gives, and he has a countless flow. So money comes to him in continuous amounts through continuous sources. And one of them is comedy. And one of them is, and most of the things that you notice about people like him, and he's not the only one, but many people who do these, they give selflessly. And you would never know that they helped this person out. They gave that person that. And I mean, there's a countless people who's done that. But his whole thing on that day, maybe they was drinking all that vodka, whatever that was, or whatever they be drinking at the table.
Yeah.
And it just loosens you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because truth. He just spoke his truth, and everything has been downhill from everybody, from Cedric the Entertainer, from Steve Harvey. The dominoes have been falling. So my whole thing is, if you're coming from the side of truth, you don't have nothing to worry, because if you do the right things for the right reasons, you get the right results. But if you do the wrong things for the wrong reasons, you get the wrong results.
Exactly, because I said that's one magical leprechaun because he set the whole thing on fire beginning in January, and we've been having all of these different things happening where, and also I didn't even talk about this, but quiet on the set with on talking about the things that young adults experienced in at Nickelodeon. I don't know if you
I
heard
heard
about it.
something about that. One of the producers was on an interview trying to clear himself. But you
Yeah.
see, the lies. See, we're in a time of now where truth come to the surface, and so I don't care if you've ever walked on the street and ever noticed a little weed or something coming through the sidewalk. That's like symbolically of truth. So you can try to cover things up, but the truth is always going to come to the surface. Now there'll be people who wish you can't, and I think one of the things about the internet was in its origin, it was designed to keep up with people. So this way, because I understand supposedly CIA or FBI had a lot to do with forming it. They felt it was nice. They don't have to do all the research because people are going to tell on themselves, which they do. But
Really? I'm so surprised. No.
but what happens is people have also begun to be very conscious in sharing things. So this whole thing about TikTok being shut down, well, they're thinking is, and it's interesting. They'll say, well, TikTok is supposedly, well, it spies on you. Well, that's what Meta does. That's what Facebook does. That's what Instagram does. That's what X does. If Mark Zuckerberg keeps a thing over his camera where you can't see it, okay, what does that mean? And he's the one that founded Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
But he is known to keep a thing over his camera.
Gee, I wonder why. But you know what I said about, I'm glad you brought up TikTok because number one, I love TikTok because that's one of the places where you can get lost in a rabbit hole. You can.
Yes.
But it seems as though people are really able to just teach and share. It's less filtered, it's less
Well, see, that's
superficial.
what I'm saying, versus here in the West where everything is more controlled, media controlled. TikTok is out the country, so it doesn't have that. Yes, it projects other things about silliness. But I understand in China, it's to its citizens, to its children, it has a whole different algorithm, a whole different platform. But I myself am on TikTok. People would tell, well, you need to get on TikTok. I said no, but that has been a very explosive thing. So all they got to do
I
is
know it. I know it has.
numbers and you. That is my TikTok name, Numbers and You, all separate words. And they'll see that I talked about the eclipse. I talked about the lunar and the solar eclipse. I talked about the Mercury retrograde, and I also spoke about all the zodiac signs. And they can see all of that also on a podcast called Manifest on Purpose on YouTube. It's by Kimberly, KIMBALEY_. Thank you. And it's ANDYOU, no shortcuts. Numbers and you.
Okay.
Doesn't have what is called the ampersand. It's numbers and you. Thanks,
Oh,
LaShawn. Thank you
okay.
very much, LaShawn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so these things are always vehicles. So this country is doing exactly what they claim that China's doing, and even more so. If you got your iPhone in the living room, or you know how they got Alexa, you say something to Alexa, and you'll be in the living room, and they'll give you a response in your bedroom. So the
How do they
volume,
know that? Right.
yeah, so they've already tapped into Google has your information. All of these sites that they talk about have your information. So you got to go to your settings, click on privacy, and just undelete some of the things that, or uncheck some of the things that they got that's already built in. But if you don't know it, you would never know. And then you
Exactly.
buy something, and then when you go on your internet, all of a sudden the thing you just purchased is showing up as part of the screen. And you just said, I just purchased this. How would they know? TikTok's not doing that. But you know, so it's about business. It's about business. It's about
We
control.
on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I told people, number one, TikTok is not going, they're not going to shut it down because there's too much money on the table. The only reason why the US is concerned about TikTok is because they are trying to figure out how they can get some monies from it and how they can get the information from it. That's all they care about.
And
That's
not
all.
only that, but you got 170 million people. And part of the claim is that by getting rid of TikTok since the COVID, and a lot of people lost their job, a lot of people are actually making money through their TikTok programs, the beta program, the products program. You know what I'm saying? And people are making money. So why should they go back and drive an hour to work, spending their gas, they're not compensated for gas or time, when they can sit right at home and generate income right from there? Instagram does it, Facebook does it, X does it, LinkedIn does it. So why not TikTok? So it's very strange. So what they did when they did internet was let the cat out of the bag, because within a minute I can know something that happened way across the other side of the planet that I didn't know about before. And so it was really designed like that. It was designed where you tell on your business that I took you out for dinner, that I met my boys and we went bowling. We talked a lot of smack, but there are people who now share information about things that are going on around the world that you don't normally get to see here in the West, as they call it.
That is right. Well, you know what? What I said is that the internet or the World Wide Web, I don't know which one we want to call it, is like the Tower of Babel. It's really the Tower of Babel, because it's like we're all communicating and talking now. It's like we're like, and the story goes that, the God consciousness, or God, or however you want to call it, was upset that man was creating this tower so they could reach God. And what happened was their language got taken from them, where everyone started speaking these different languages, the Babel or whatever Babel. And we're at a stage now where we can communicate without language barriers now. We have the translators. So it's interesting to see with the advent of AI, which is really hive mind, our collective intelligence. Actually, it's it's interesting the way the technology is going. And I'm just wondering, with this new age solar eclipse and this new of information and revealing, is this like a product of us possibly learning too much, and people may want to take certain things away because we're getting too smart?
This is a reflection of the age of Aquarius, which deals with technology, things of that nature. And what has happened, Pluto is now in the sign of Aquarius and will stay there till 2044, the next 20 years. And it means a transformation. Pluto's a transformative planet. Aquarius is a transformative zodiac sign. So a lot of things are about to change. So this AI is just many of those things. People think that AI will replace a lot of jobs if people are not aware. But again, there is still no substitute for the human mind, because AI came into existence because of the human mind. It just relates faster, it does things quicker, and it will make people more lazier if they haven't done the initial work of reading and writing and arithmetic and other things like that. And they would expect AI to do just things for them. But what happens if AIs collapse? What if AI is being controlled by other parties and things like that? So I was always taught, you either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you.
Wow. Yes, sir. That's a good message. That's a good message. So I know we've been on here for like an hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm going to give people an opportunity to maybe ask you some
Well, they can
questions.
give their birthdays because
Yeah,
someone read it, and we'll
yeah, we
read
get their
out
birthday.
5 or 6 birthdays or so and so.
Okay, so everyone, you can comment your birthday in the comments, and Baba Lloyd will share what he
Now,
see.
April says my daughter's birthday is that day. What day is she referring to? April 1st,
April
8th?
8th.
Okay. So actually, this speaking of that, this is the same birthday as Bob Johnson, the founder of BET, who became
Mm-hmm.
the first African American billionaire, I do believe, as they say it. And it indicates that her daughter is always, yes, her daughter is always an old soul. She's old. The elders would say she was born with a veil over her face. She's going to have those philosophical questions that her mama said, girl, I'm going to have to take you to church on Sunday because you ask some questions like I don't have no answers for in that way. She's going to be very determined. She's going to be a late bloomer, and she's going to be very dedicated, very warm, very loyal, very faithful, very, very dependable, and will stick with somebody. Now, at first, she may give the impression of being aloof or distant, but as she gets older, she will come into her own. So she's going to make Ava, her mother, very proud of her. And it's interesting, her daughter is born in 2006, and the name Ava adds up to a 6, which tells me Ava's Ava's parents, which is her daughter's grandparents, could either be a Taurus or Libra, or born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of the month.
Wow. Guys, if you are in Baltimore, y'all need to be in the place to be. If you're not, we are offering streaming so you can watch him via live stream. The link is on the banner going across. And my name is Kenda Bell, the Joy Factor Mama. Make sure if you're not following me, you follow me. Follow me on Facebook and follow me on YouTube. And when you go to it, make sure you click notify so you can get updates for when I upload things. And make sure you follow Baba Lloyd because you want to get that knowledge. And his website is phenomenal, and he has an app, and we'll talk about that. But I just wanted to plug that in really quick. Let me look the next person. Thank you so much. You give such good value. I mean, guys, if you aren't following him, you really need to.
Oh, there's Perryman. Okay. She is, notice her birthday, 9669. Okay. Notice how her numbers are running. 6 is 9 upside down, 9 is 6 upside down. Okay. So when they talk about the mark of the beast, which is 666, that adds up to 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. When they talk about the symbolic in the new chapter of Revelation, the last chapter in the new chapter of Revelation, in the last chapter of the Bible, they talk about Christ's number is 888, which is 24, which is a 6. So it's about,
Really?
yes. So 9 represents war, 6 represents peace. There was a famous book that came out about 20, 30 years ago called War and Peace, and it was about those kinds of things. It was a Russian kind of novel, but she's the kind of person, she'd make an excellent teacher, professor, nurse. Honey, I'm doing my show right now. I got to call you back. Okay. Where did I go?
Oh, no, you're here.
Okay. Okay.
You're here.
Yeah, that was my granddaughter. I told her I'd call her back because she's anyway. Um, but it tells me Perriman is the kind of person, she has a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice. It also tells me that the next 2 years are going to be meaningful, very important in terms of changes in the way of opportunities, environment, situations, and also moving into things that affects the home, family, and her environment. It's going to be similar to what she went through in the fall, in the year of, shall we say, 2015 into 2016. That 2-year run was very important for her. Her key numbers are the 6, 5, and 9. Her best days are always on a Friday, Wednesday, and Tuesdays. And she's blessed with 6 months, which is always in April, May, June, And then on the other side of the summer is September, October, November.
Okay.
Wants to. And she's got great taste, by the way.
Oh, shucks. Okay. Miss Perryman, I hope that felt good to you. Sprinkle, sprinkle, as my other girl say. Oh, Miss LaShawn, who says that she follows you on TikTok.
She is born on the same birthday as Coretta Scott King, Dr. Martin Luther King's wife. She is a fighter. She is a humanitarian. She's global, universal, international. She is the kind of person that brings and inspires people to be the best. 9 people are leaders. They like to be the master of their fate, the captain of their ship. They like to be in control of their own destiny. They have good opinion of themselves, which people will misinterpret as being cocky or arrogant, which is why I call her birth number the number of open enemies, because who does she think she is? And it's not that. She just exudes confidence and courage and conviction in all the things she do. But that's taken out of context of she thinks who she thinks she is, and it's not that at all. She is this year is her year to grow, to expand. Her key numbers are the 9, 6, and 3. She's in a 3 personal year. But what I did was I took, instead of taking April the 27th and putting her year to it, I put April the 27th and put 2024 this year to it, and in fact it out to a 3. So 3 is one of her numbers, and it means expansion. It means prosperity. It is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which means good luck, good fortunes, things of that nature. So this is going to be a very productive year for her to do things. Her numbers are the 9, 6, and 3, and her best days are always, without exceptions, on Tuesday, Friday, Thursday, and her best months are always in March, April, May, October, November, December.
So you wow. So you can just look at someone's birthday and just calculate that just like that. That's like, to me, like a superpower.
Well,
That's
it
amazing to
is,
me.
but in fact, so many people have asked that I'm doing something I've never done, which is this summer, I'm actually going to teach people who want to do this as a career, how to do it as a professional career.
What? You got to send
So
me
all
the
they
link.
got to do is write to a star8llc@gmail.com. I have my website to download the app, but if they want to write to me, it's a star8llc@gmail.com. You're more than welcome, LaShawn. You're more than welcome. 246. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to be in that class because I definitely want to add that to my toolbox. Let me get a couple of other things before I let you go. Are you doing okay in terms of time?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yes, other than my grandmother talk to me right away. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we ain't go. We don't want her.
Now,
Okay.
Tanisha is an air sign with a fire number. So that means Tanisha was very much influenced coming up as a young child by the women in her life. Her mother, her grandmother, a sister, an auntie, a niece, a cousin, somebody. However, she is the kind of person that should have been a lawyer or a doctor or a scientist. She thinks like that. She's very independent, very self-reliant. And I would say in relationships, she's never had a problem finding a male. Her challenge has been finding a man, which is a totally different animal. One who is not intimidated by her strength of character. Because in relationships, I would say some of her challenges in the past have been that people have thought she was bossy or dominant or trying to tell her what to do when she's a number one, or when it always comes in number one. They know what they want and they're going to speak their truth.
Oh,
so when she speaks her truth, the person on the other end of that she's speaking to shouldn't feel intimidated or threatened, but stand toe to toe and either say, yes, you're right, or check it, all depending. All right. But she is a very forceful person. And this year she's ready to make a transition, either with some of the relationships she's been dealing with. If things have been shaky, that's going to come to a close over the summer, around late June, July. There's also going to be changes around the house that she's been making, and some changes at the workplace, whether a new workstation, new supervisor, but her key numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. And her best days are always on Sunday and Tuesdays. And her best months are always in February, April, August, and November, more than any other times of the year.
Oh, wow. You are so awesome. I cannot wait until this class. I you've got to come back to talk about the class, and I definitely want to be in it because, like I don't think that I could get as good as you. No, let me
You
not limit
can
myself.
listen. Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
Now, when you just see, the beauty of a pro is they make it look so simple. So you can got a guy sitting on the couch watching this basketball player make the nicest dunk. He said, "Man, I could do that," but he don't know how many times that guy had to practice that over and over and over again until he got it right. So this is the thing. So it's not going to be. I'm not going to. When I teach, it ain't going to be handing it to you. I'm not going to hold your hand. That's not teaching you. You know, it's that's like saying, give me a fish. No, I want to teach you how to fish. So you can always fish. You can always be in control of your affairs and not be dependent on, well, Lloyd didn't give me my fish today. It don't make no matter because I know how to fish for myself.
I yes, sir. Let's go to the next person, Marquita Moore. Okay, thank you.
She is an earth sign with a water number. So that means she's a nurturer. Makita indicates she's very sophisticated, very analytical. Bless her soul, she never runs out of questions. She's not afraid to go down the rabbit hole. So if there's a person she's dealing with in her life, let's say she has a boyfriend or a husband, and he don't answer the question correctly, well, she got more questions to follow that up. The one thing I notice about sevens, they have a strongly marked individuality, a mind of their own. They like to think for themselves. They like to question things in detail. 7, I notice women, unlike 7 men, often 7 women will accuse Makita at some point coming up. Oh, who do you think you are? You think you snooty or stuck up or who? And it's not the case, but she is very sophisticated. She's very laid back. She's very discreet and discriminating. So even her best friends don't know everything about her. They may know a lot about her, but they don't know everything about her. Her numbers are the 7, 2, and 6, and her best days are Mondays and Fridays. And she always does well during March, May, July, and October, more than any other times of the year. And she worries more than she needs to and suffers with night sweats on occasions. That has nothing to do with her hormones.
You got it down to the to
Yes, that's where if you're interested in signing up for the course, which I'm going to start in July, about doing this as a profession, and I will teach you. I've got decades and decades of doing this. I've been on radio, television. I've written books. In fact, on my online course, I've got 7,000 students in 104 countries around the world right now. And
I believe it.
Students. That's not talking about how to teach you how to do this to make a living. But it's going to be worth it. But you got to be serious though.
I'm serious. I'm telling you, I'm going to be up in here.
$10,000 to pay for the class, but they may not qualify just because you say you want to. There's going to be certain things required. No, it ain't going to cost no $10,000, but
I know you made
we're not dealing just with the money as so much as you can have all the money, but do you have the spirit? Do you have the conviction? Do you have the temperament to do this? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I definitely don't want anybody to feel I'm taking their money. I like sleeping good at night.
Man, wow.
Oh, Khalil is born the same day as Jan Levan Zant.
Okay.
That means he's an old man in a sense, not just his age, but in the fact he's always been old. And so he's the kind of person I would jokingly say he was probably introduced to sex 101 when he was coming up as a young boy by an older woman. He's always been an old guy in a sense, hung out with the elders. And he would see, as a teenager, he would pick up from guys in their 20s. In their 20s, they would be in their 30s and 40s. But he's always constantly picking up nuggets and wisdoms and jewels so he don't make the mistakes that he heard the other guys make that set them back. He's a genius in the sense he would do well in the mechanical, mathematical sciences, computers, technology, engineering, radio, television, technology in all its forms. He's also good with his hands. And he also likes to be his own best company too. So you can't knock on the door and say, "Yo, man, we hanging out." Khalil don't do it like that. No, you got to call.
I
And
know
he's got a
that.
lot of ones in his name, which means he needs to have his own business too.
Oh, right. And guys, if you want to hear him live, where he's going to go in depth about the African origins of
Yep.
numerology and how we can use it in our practical lives, I need for you to go to the bit.ly link that is underneath, that is rolling underneath us right now. It is bit.ly/L as in Lloyd, L Strayhorn. And that's going to take you to the event, Bright event. He's going to be here on Saturday, April the 13th, in between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. at TNAT Holistic Wellness Center at 5525 Hartford Road. And if you are not in the DMV area or you're busy that day, we are also offering a live stream option. And you
Yeah.
have to, so you'll be able to log in and watch it as well and experience this knowledge that he's sharing. You have 2 days to take advantage of the early bird special. And as well as his website is www.astar8.com. It's floating underneath there. Okay,
By
I
the
just
way,
want to.
Khalil's key numbers, so we don't leave him out. His numbers are
Oh,
the
oh, oh, I'm so sorry. I
no,
thought you could
his
finish.
numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and his best days are always on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Wednesday. And he always tend to do exceptionally well during the months of February, June, July, August, and September.
Okay, my apologies. I thought
You know,
you had.
no harm done. No harm done.
Okay.
None at all. We all good. He's got
All
his
right.
information. Thanks, Khalil. I say to you.
Thank you. Now we're going to do maybe 3 more people, and then we're going to go out because we've been on here for 90 minutes, and I do not want to just pull on Baba, but you have the information to contact him. I began following him back, I think, in the late 90s, and I've had him on my other shows. He is so awesome, and you can see how he's hitting these numbers with your birthday, and he's also giving context and knowledge for this wonderful science. So if you're able to, make sure you follow him, and make sure you follow my page. Follow my page on YouTube as well as on Facebook, because I'm going to have some great shows coming up. Larita. Hi,
Larita, she's quite attractive. Always have been. Not only in just looks, but her personality, her persona. She probably growing up as a young girl, she probably thought she would go into the arts like singing, dance, theater, acting,
Mm,
musicianship. Then
mm,
somewhere along the journey, she might thought, well, maybe I'll go into law or real estate or banking or working for the government in some capacity. But ultimately, it's always in the area of service, whether it's a social worker, teacher, counselor, nurse, professor, Reiki master, life coach, therapist, psychologist. It always, at some point, it is about service. She has the ability to read through people very well. So I would not play the sister. You know what I'm saying? And she has a very strong sense of right and wrong. So they will tell you whatever job she's been on, she don't play favorites. If you're right, I'm with you. If you're not right, I'm with you. And coming up as a little girl, she was the crowd pleaser, the teacher's pet in school. Her key numbers are the 6, 2, and 7. Her best days are always on a Friday first, followed by Monday. And March, May, July, and October are always her best times of the year.
wow, awesome. Okay, 2 more. Okay, let's see who's up next. Oh, that's my sister Queen. How you doing?
Okay, she is a water sign with a fire number. Now, her birthday suggests that she tends to attract men in uniform. So, if she ever dated somebody in law enforcement or the military or construction or handled
Mm.
materials, scenes, or instrument, that would not surprise me at all. It also indicates when I look at her name, she doesn't look her age, which is why she will attract younger men. So, because even when I'm looking at the name, that's 15, that's 22. So she attracts odd and unusual, and it indicates one of her parents could either been an Aquarius or Leo, or a Gemini, or born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. But she likes to be different. That is for sure. So it's not easy being Kareem Navone, because if it ain't one thing, it's another. But this year she's ready to start fresh, start all over again. And her three best friends are me, myself, and I. Her lucky numbers are the 9, 3, and 6. And her best days are always on a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Friday. And her best months are March, April, May, October, November, December.
Wow. Okay. We got one more person, but I want to show you some of these thank yous that you got. She said, perfectly said, thank you. Perryman said, I'm ready for the course.
Well, all you got to do is write to a star8llc@gmail.com. I'll pass it on and you'll get a questionnaire. But it's designed to see about your temperament. It's not the money as so much as, again, I don't want to waste people's time in their money. I just don't. If you're serious, but you got to be prepared to do the work. Right now, we're in a world of instant gratification, just add water. And you know what I'm saying? So that's what this is about.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Loretta meant. That is my father and son's birthday. Maybe someone shared.
It could have been Khalil, which was September. Well, we saw one was August the 6th. That was one. Then one was February the 27th. Then the other one before that was September the 13th, Khalil. So it could have been one of those. Those were the more recent ones that we interviewed.
You are on the money. All right, the last person. Let me see who was underneath Queen. Let's see.
That's both her father and son's birthday.
Wait a minute. I think I saw her. Wait a minute. Let me go scroll up. Now my computer's acting weird.
Yeah, well, Mercury's retrograde. It's going to be that way through much of April.
Okay. Naomi, hey, mama.
She's a water sign with a water number, which means she's affectionate, sensitive, picky about her eating habits or dietary laws. So she may have been a vegetarian, semi-vegetarian, or on the opposite side of that equation, she knows how to burn those pots and pans, as they say. Mentally and emotionally, she needs a hug twice a day because she's so sensitive. And in fact, she may have had a very interest coming up as a girl in dance, theater, design, poetry, things of that nature. She likes to collect things, or she finds it hard to throw things away. But she sees through people very, very well. And she should always follow her first mind. Health-wise, she tend to have a little concern with the lower part of the body, like the stomach. Because if you look at the 20th, 2 plus 0 is a 2, but 2 is almost shaped symbolically like the intestines of the stomach. And she's born on the same day as President Biden, too.
Really?
And this is her year where things are going to expand and grow for her. That's what's going to happen this year.
So what about Biden?
Well, it is too, but it's also a year of legal matters. And, there's some things. It's very interesting. The cycle that Naomi is in and the president is dealing with foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages. And when certain countries get out of control and can't be controlled, then he's going to carry the weight on that. That's all I'm saying, whatever that might be.
All right. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? Because you said
this is her year to have fun. And her lucky numbers are the 2, 7, and 6. And by the way, she's quite psychic. She's quite intuitive. I would never play her. I would never take her sweetness for weakness or kindness for granted.
She is a sweetie pie. I've known her for a few years.
She needs a hug twice a day. And she's got a heart of gold, but she reads through people. She just can't explain it, but she knows. Like she'll say, Kenda, don't trust Lloyd Strayhorn. You say, why? He seemed like a nice guy.
Not about you. She wouldn't say that about you. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you rocking with me.
We got to do this again. Maybe we can do it one more time before the event comes up on the 13th.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
That sounds good to me. So again, guys, if you are not following Baba Lloyd, please follow. Please let people know again how they can contact you again one more time.
Well, because I offer a variety of services, one of the best ways they go to Linktree, linktr.ee/numbers and you.
Oh,
Linktree, that's linktr.ee/numbers and you. They can sign up for my free newsletter. They can listen to my podcast. They can also get my audiobooks or buy my books. They can get charged. They can sign up for the courses because I teach a course online. It's called the Live with Lloyd series on Udemy. They can order my books on Amazon. I've written 6 books, 4 of which are on Amazon. So it's been a busy year. So that way, if they go to Linktree,
is
there
that
you
right?
go, / put a / in between tree, EE.
In between, okay.
You have EE numbers. You put the / in
Oh,
between there, and that is the
okay.
proper address. Linktree / numbers and you. And then that way they can see all of the services that I have, including the app. And I'll explain it. I developed a numerology app that tells you how to plan your day. And not only that, but it'll plan out the month for you. It talks
What?
about relationships, the best kind of car to have, and stuff like that. It's very, very detailed. There you go. Linktrees / numbers and you. There you go there, and they'll get everything they need. Everything. The app, the free newsletter, the online courses, the audiobook, the podcast, the this, that, and the other. And by the way, for those that like, I am definitely on TikTok under numbers and you. They'll see that there too.
Okay, that is awesome. This was awesome. I appreciate you spending your time and your energy. And again, I'm gonna
It
share
was
this with
fun.
you.
It was fun. Yeah, there you
Again,
go.
he's gonna
Whoa,
be
nice.
he's gonna be and let me take the comment down. Again, um, he's going to be in Baltimore on Saturday, April the 13th, between 1 and 4 p.m. You can get your early bird tickets up until, I believe, Saturday at a discount rate to see him live. Or if you are not in the DMV area, or you are working or have other things to do, we are offering live streaming as well. So make sure that you get your tickets, because it is going to be awesome. And you can go to the link tree at the link that I have on the ticker. And again, thank you so much. We're just having conversation. My name is Kenda Bell. I am Kenda Bell on all social media. So Instagram, I am Kenda_Bell. On Facebook, I am Kenda Bell.
Can you
On
show that? Can you show that poster one more time, please?
Sure. Is this the one? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. I got it. Thank you.
I could have sent it to you.
I think you did. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but anyway, I could send it to you again for sure. Okay. But yeah, so make sure that you follow me as well. My name is Kenda Bell. I am Kenda Bell on all social medias. On TikTok, I am Kenda Bell, or Joy Factor Mama Kenda on TikTok and on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have meditations, I have classes, and I'm going to be having these great conversations on there every Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to go live and talk about current events, or bring you some really topical, beneficial, metaphysical conversations. So again,
before I leave, I do want to let you know that the solar eclipse is going to be at its peak in Baltimore around 3:21 p.m. on Monday the 8th.
You told us, you was already on top of it.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure.
No, you on it.
Yeah, wear your glasses. Don't be looking all up there in case it ruins the eyes and stuff like that. Just and it's not going to come again until 2040 something. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before it comes to the United States again. So that's why everybody and their mother's out. Kids are out of school. National Guard is on point. So it's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be a very.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. So just take it easy. No arguments, fussing and fighting. Don't assume. With Mercury retrograde, that's the worst time. And then when Mercury goes direct, you're trying to figure out what were you arguing about.
My husband and I go through that just about every day. I forgot now. I don't know.
Yeah, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. My 3 husband. Okay, let me go. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
This is the place to be every Wednesday and Thursday in between 8:30 and 10 o'clock. Just having conversation.
And then,
oh, wait. What was you going to say?
I says enjoyable conversations.
Thank you. All right. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, I saw that shit right there.